In this chapter, we're going to be looking at Python modules. And any program that you write in Python can become a module. You just have to be sure to add it into another program correctly. We're going to start off first, though, by looking at just the general use of modules and one or two of the built-in modules that are part of Python. You'll notice that I'm in the Python 3.0/lib directory. And these are where the built-in modules reside. And if we do a dir*py/w, we can get a look at all the Python modules that are built in or part of the language. And there's quite a few. And these are just standard Python files. So if we want to open one, for example, we've used the OS module a time or two. We can open it up. I'll also call these libraries sometimes. And you'll see that it's just Python code. I'm not going to spend time trying to explain it all. But it's just Python code that in this case is used to work with specific operating system commands. And you can open any of these. Let's look at another one, for example. Let's find one that looks like it might be easy to understand. Actually, none of them are very easy to understand. Let's just do pprint. Notepad, pprint. This is for pretty printing. And here you see the use of the module, handle pretty printing operations onto a stream using a configured set of formatting parameters. And then again, it's just a set of Python statements, looks like some classes and functions to allow you to pretty print using Python. So very briefly, let's look at how we use the built-in modules. We've done this before. So we're going to call this program built-in.py. And the way we use a built-in module is we import it into our program. And we'll do that for our user-defined modules that we're going to start learning about in the next lesson. Then once we've done that, then we have the functionality of that module available to our program. So for example, one of the things we did earlier in the course was use popen from the OS module to store all of the output from the directory command, in this case a star.py directory, into a object that we can then iterate through using a for loop, like so. So then when we run this code, we get a listing of all the files that end in py in the current subdirectory, because I didn't enter any other path, so it's working with the current working directory. Another example that we've looked at was the floating point absolute value function. That's part of the math library. The math library is not accessible as a py program because it is written differently, so we can't inspect it the same way we inspected OS. But we can still access its functions. So we get the file list, and then we get the absolute value of negative 123.45, which is positive 123.45. There's really not much more to say about the use of built-in modules that I want to talk about in this lesson. There are some options when you import a library or a module into your program, and we're going to look at those when we look at how we create our own modules, which is coming up in the next lesson. So without further ado, let's move on to the next lesson where we'll begin looking at how to create our own modules.